The sun was low when Ava Johnson stepped into the airport. In quiet hours she could think and plan. She was the CEO of a travel tech company, but she did not seek attention. She wore a navy sweater, dark jeans, and flats, and carried one slim laptop bag. Her goal was simple: fly to a partner meeting, present a product update, and be home by evening today. She reached the kiosk and scanned her phone. Her first-class aisle seat was shown and confirmed. Then a message flashed: "See agent." She took a slow breath. It might be a small system issue, she told herself, and walked to the gate desk. The gate area was lively. Over the speaker, a voice announced boarding for another flight. Ava waited behind a couple talking about a honeymoon. When it was her turn, she said, "Good morning. My app asked me to see an agent." The agent looked up, then down at her screen. "Name?" "Ava Johnson." The agent tapped, then said, "First class is full. We'll need to reassign you to economy." Ava kept her voice even. "I purchased a first-class ticket with an assigned seat. Could you check the record? I have the confirmation code in my email." The agent gave a small shrug and turned her monitor slightly away. "There's no record of that now. We can get you on the plane in coach." Ava felt a small sting. She let it pass. "May I speak with the supervisor?" The agent called. A shift supervisor arrived in a tidy blazer. "How can I help?" Ava stated the details calmly. "I purchased a first-class ticket for this flight. I checked in on the app. The app sent me here. The desk says first class is full and there is no record of my seat." The supervisor looked at the screen and then at Ava. "Sometimes we have priority changes. It happens. We can seat you in economy to keep things moving." Ava opened her email and held it so both could see. "Here is my receipt. Here is the seat assignment. Here is the confirmation code." The supervisor nodded politely and handed the phone back. "I understand this is frustrating. But we need to board. Will you accept the downgrade? We can give you a small voucher." Ava had worked in travel for years. She knew many problems were simple errors, and simple errors could be corrected when people cared. "I will wait while you check with the station manager. I believe there is a mistake." Two other passengers approached the priority lane. The agent smiled and printed 2 slips, waving them into first class. They had arrived after Ava. She did not judge them, they were traveling. She noted the time and what happened in her phone. The supervisor typed and sighed. "Ma'am, if you want to travel on this flight, the seat available now is in economy. If you don't want it, we can rebook you later." Ava thanked him and stepped aside so she would not block the line. She looked out at the runway for a second. A jet rolled by, body shining. Calm returned, the kind that comes when a person chooses a next step. A family stood nearby, 2 parents and a teenager with a bright backpack. The mother gave Ava a kind look and said in a low voice, "We saw what happened. If you need us to say what we saw, we can." Ava smiled. "Thank you. May I note your names in case a manager asks for witnesses?" They agreed. She typed their names and a brief note. She did not want to make a scene. She wanted the system to work the way it should. She returned to the desk when the line cleared and asked, "Has the station manager been called?" The supervisor said, "He's tied up but will come when he can." The speaker announced, "Pre-boarding for families and those needing extra time." Ava took a photo of her confirmation email and the time on her lock screen. She made sure no faces were in the frame. Careful records help good people make good decisions later, she thought. 2 more passengers approached. The agent smiled and said, "You've been upgraded. Here are your seats in first." They were excited. Ava did not feel anger. She felt focus. If there had been a simple error, it was time to fix it. If there had been a pattern, It was time to name it. She asked the supervisor, "Will you please note that I am choosing to wait for the station manager rather than accept a downgrade, and that I have shown proof of purchase?" He nodded. "I'll put it in notes." "Thank you," she said. The agent printed another boarding pass and slid it across the counter. "Here. This will get you on the plane right now." Ava looked. It said economy. "I will hold for the seat I purchased. I have work to do on the plane." The agent's cheeks tightened. She pushed the pass closer. "If you miss boarding, we cannot hold the flight." "I understand," Ava said. "I will wait over there." She moved to a seat by the window. The teenager gave her a small thumbs up. Ava returned the gesture. She opened her notes and wrote the timeline, arrival time, the sea agent message, what the desk said, who arrived after her and went to first class, and the words about priority changes. She did not assume the worst. She assumed facts would help. A phone buzzed behind the desk. The supervisor answered. His face changed as he listened. He looked toward Ava, then back at the screen. He hung up and disappeared down the jet bridge. The agent kept working. Boarding groups were called, Group 1, Group 2. Ava checked the time. She had a little cushion. She also had a choice. She could accept the downgrade and rush to her meeting tired. Or she could hold the line and give the system a chance to correct itself. She chose the second. If the system would not correct itself, she would use proper channels later. She texted her assistant, at gate. Possible seat issue. Maybe delayed. The reply came fast, understood. Sending the contract summary, just in case. Ava smiled. She did not plan to use the contract. She only wanted fair treatment. The station manager still had not arrived. Ava filled her bottle and returned to her seat. She looked at the runway. A bird crossed the sky and vanished. Movement happens even when people do not notice, she thought. She wrote a line, "Stay steady. Let truth do its work." "Final call for Flight 218 to Grand Harbor," the speaker said. The agent looked toward Ava as if she expected a scene. There was no scene. Ava stood, walked to the counter, and spoke softly. "I will not board in economy. I will wait for the station manager or a correction to this error." The agent opened her mouth and closed it again. She printed a paper and handed it to a staff runner. The runner hurried away. The family who had offered to help stayed near. They did not crowd. They kept a gentle watch. A minute later, the supervisor returned with a new rush in his step and a still face. He did not speak to Ava first. He spoke into a phone behind the desk. Then he turned. "Ma'am, the station manager is on his way. Please wait right here." "I will," Ava said. She let her shoulders loosen. She did not celebrate. She stood grounded in the facts she had gathered, her voice ready, her heart steady. Whatever came next, she would meet it with care. The station manager arrived with quick steps and a careful smile. He was a tall man with a neat tie and a badge that read O'Reeves. He greeted Ava by name, which told her the supervisor had briefed him. "Miss Johnson, I'm sorry for the delay. I understand there's an issue with your seat." Ava kept her voice steady. "Thank you for coming. I purchased a first-class ticket. I checked in on the app. The app sent me to the desk. The desk told me first class is full and there is no record of my original seat." He looked at the screen. His brow did not change but his voice softened. "Sometimes we have priority changes due to operations. It can be due to equipment, weight, and balance, or last-minute changes." Ava listened fully, then spoke with care. "I understand operational needs. I also see 2 passengers who arrived after me were admitted to first class. I showed my receipt and assigned seat. I was told there is no record now. I would like to understand how that happened and request the seat I paid for. He nodded and typed. I see your booking. I see a record of a seat, but it's not showing in the current inventory. It might be a sync issue. Ava repeated, a sync issue, and wrote the phrase in her notes. She added the time and his name as he wore it on the badge. The manager noticed her taking notes. His tone stayed polite, but there was a new formality in his posture. Around them, the gate area pulsed with movement. Boarding continued for another flight, and the lines rose and fell like small waves. The family who had offered to witness stayed nearby without crowding. The teenager shifted the bright backpack from one shoulder to the other. The mother gave Ava a small nod, as if to say, "We're here." The agent printed a paper and slid it to the manager. He scanned it and sighed very softly. "Miss Johnson, I can offer you economy on this flight with a voucher, or first class on a later flight." Ava held the paper receipt from her phone again. "I am requesting the seat I purchased on this flight. If the system made an error, can you reverse it? If there was a priority change, can you explain what kind of priority outranks a paid first-class ticket and assigned seat?" He chose his words with care. "We sometimes upgrade certain passengers due to loyalty status and operational needs." Ava's voice stayed calm. So loyalty status was placed over a paid first-class seat with a confirmed assignment. He did not say yes. He did not say no. He said, "I can't speak to the exact rule call made at the moment." Ava wrote another phrase, "cannot speak to exact rule call." She looked up and offered the manager a kind look. "I am not here to argue. I am here to fly. I do not want to block your work. But I need a fair answer and a fair seat." A person in a suit approached the desk and spoke to the manager quietly. He then turned to Ava with a thoughtful face. "If it helps," the person said, "I can switch with you. I was just upgraded. I can take economy." Ava gave him a warm, grateful smile. "Thank you for your kindness. I appreciate it deeply. Please keep your seat. This is not about one seat. It is about the process that moved the seat I paid for out from under me." The man nodded, a little humbled by her clarity. "I understand." The speaker announced pre-boarding for families and those needing extra time on Ava's flight. A line formed at the carpet. The agent scanned and smiled and scanned again. The manager leaned closer to the screen, clicked a few keys, and tapped a number. He did not find the magic key that changed everything. Ava asked gently, "Can I please have a written explanation of the reason my seat was removed? It can be brief. I would like the airline to have a record in clear words." The manager hesitated. "We don't usually do written explanations at the gate." "Then please note in the record that I asked for one," Ava said. "And that I requested the station manager escalate." He nodded. "I'll add that." The teenager from the family looked at Ava's laptop bag and whispered to his mother, who smiled. The mother said to Ava, "If you want us to put our statement in writing, we can write our names and what we saw." Ava's eyes warmed. "Thank you. If the manager is okay with it, you can write a short note on a blank paper with your names and contact. Just 1 or 2 lines." The manager, maybe relieved by the calm tone of everyone, handed a blank form from a stack usually used for simple feedback. The mother wrote, "We saw Miss Johnson arrive before boarding. We saw 2 later passengers go to first class. She showed a receipt and seat. She was offered economy. Names, phone. The father and the teenager signed underneath." Ava took a photo of the note with the time on her phone screen visible. She returned the original to the manager, saying, "Please attach this to my customer file if your system allows." He said, "I'll keep it with the station file for this flight." The agent scanned more passengers. Group 1, the speaker called, and then Group 2. A flight attendant stepped off the jet bridge to pick up a small stack of papers. She glanced at Ava and then at the manager, as if to ask silently if all was okay. The manager gave a neutral nod. Ava's assistant texted again, "Any update?" Ava typed, "Still waiting for fair seat. Please send me the contract clause summary that covers ethics and compliance with our systems." The assistant replied, "Sending now. Keep calm. We're with you." A PDF popped into Ava's inbox with a clear subject line and a short summary in the body. Ava did not plan to use it, but it mattered to be ready. Being ready gave her peace. She looked at the digital clock near the gate. Minutes moved. She counted her choices again like steps on a quiet path. Option 1, accept economy and fly today. She would be tired, and a message would be sent to herself and to the world that this was okay. Option 2, insist with anger. That might make noise but not progress. Option 3, stand steady, collect facts, ask for accountability, and if needed use the channels built for fairness. She chose option 3 again. A short man with a rolling bag cut the line and said loudly, "I have status, can I board now?" The agent, eager to keep order, smiled and directed him to the right lane. The word status fell like a small pebble into the calm water of Ava's mind. Not a stone, just a pebble. She noted it. Status was not wrong. Status without fairness was the problem. The manager finally spoke again. "Miss Johnson, if you accept economy, we can close this flight now. If you decline, we will need to proceed without you." Ava replied, "Please note that I decline a downgrade from a seat I paid for, and that I requested an explanation and a correction." She kept her tone soft. It was not a threat. It was a clear record. He added, "I can give you a voucher." "Thank you, but I am not asking for a voucher. I am asking for fairness." Silence settled for a breath. The flight attendant returned to the jet bridge. The agent announced, "Final boarding for Flight 218 to Grand Harbor." The family stood a little straighter, sensing the moment. The teenager looked at Ava with open respect, learning a lesson about how a person can stand firm without shouting. The manager's radio crackled. He stepped aside to listen. His eyes flicked toward Ava, then to the agent, then back to the middle distance where decisions live before they become words. He spoke into the radio quietly and returned. "I can rebook you to a later flight in first class." "Thank you," Ava said. "I have a meeting today, so I prefer this flight. If there is any way to restore my original seat, that is the solution I am asking for." He spread his hands, a gesture that said he had reached his gate level limits. "I've done what I can at the station. You can contact customer care after the flight." Ava nodded. "Please note that." She stepped aside again, not blocking anyone's path. People filed by, rolling bags clicking, earbuds in, conversations about small snacks and big deals. The airport moved as if it had its own quiet heart. A ground operations lead, a woman with a steady face, paused near Ava and said softly, "I'm sorry for the trouble today." There was kindness in her tone, the kind that recognizes a truth even if she cannot fix it. Ava smiled back and said, "Thank you for your work." The last passengers went through. The agent closed the door with a firm, practiced motion. The jet bridge pulled back. Ava watched the plane push from the gate with a slow, dignified roll. She did not feel victory or defeat. She felt clear. Choices have costs. Her choice carried a cost, and she accepted it. The manager returned with a formal posture. "I can move you to the next flight in first class," he said, "and I will put a note in your file." "Thank you," Ava said. "Before we finish here, may I have the incident number for this interaction, and your full name for my record? And please include the witness note in the station file with the time." He provided his full name and a reference number. She repeated them aloud, slowly, as she typed, to avoid mistakes. He noticed the care. Care invites care. The family approached, ready to head to their own flight. The mother said, "We're sorry you missed this one." Ava shook her head gently. "You did not cause that. Thank you for being kind. Your note matters." The teenager lifted the bright backpack and said, "You stayed calm. That was strong." Ava smiled. Calm is a tool. You can use it anywhere. They waved goodbye and left. The gate area, busy minutes before, now felt like a quiet room after a meeting. The agent stacked papers. The manager checked his radio. A cleaner wheeled a small bin past, humming. Ava sat by the window. She took one more photo of the clock and the empty gate. She opened the PDF her assistant had sent just to confirm. It was a brief summary of a clause in a service agreement. If a credible incident of unfair treatment occurred and was documented, the client company could ask for an ethics review. Certain systems could be paused until specific steps were taken. The clause was not a hammer. It was a guardrail. Guardrails protect everyone on the road. Ava had not wanted to use it. But the steps at the gate had formed a clear pattern: paid first-class seat removed, priority upgrades given to others, no clear explanation, resistance to written notes, and the flight closed without a fair fix. She had asked softly and clearly for what was right. Now, if she used the next channel, she would still do it softly and clearly. She closed her eyes for a moment and breathed. She thought of her team who had built the software with care, of the airline staff who worked long days to help people, of the manager who had tried within his limits, and of the travelers who watched. She did not want a person punished in public. She wanted a system that would not let this happen again to her or to anyone else. She opened her eyes and unlocked her phone. She looked at one contact. It was a simple name in her favorites, Daniel. He was her chief operating officer, methodical, fair, and calm in a storm. Ava checked her notes one more time: times, names, phrases, the witness note, the manager's reference number. She added a final line: "I am making one call, not for myself alone, but for a better process." Then she stood, stepped to a quiet corner near the window, and dialed. The phone rang once, twice. She felt the ground under her feet, strong and certain. When Daniel picked up, she said in her steady voice, "Hi, it's me. I need to report an incident at Gate 14, Flight 218. I have full details." Daniel answered on the second ring. His voice was calm, the kind of calm that steadies other people. "I'm here," he said. "Tell me what happened." Ava spoke with the same steady tone she had kept at the gate. She gave the flight number, the gate number, the time she arrived, and the moment her app asked her to see an agent. She listed names from badges, exact phrases used at the desk, and what she saw with her own eyes: 2 later passengers welcomed into first class while her paid seat disappeared. Daniel did not interrupt. He let her finish the full picture. Then he asked short, precise questions. "Do you have the receipt and seat number?" She said yes. "Do you have a photo with timestamps?" Yes. "Any witnesses?" Yes. "Written?" Yes, a brief note from a nearby family with names and contacts. "Good," Daniel said softly. "Please email all of it to me, and copy legal and trust." He named their general counsel, Mara, and their head of customer trust, Sam. Subject line: Gate 14 credible incident request for compliance review. Keep the body clean and factual, like you always do. Ava stood by the window and sent the email. She attached the confirmation email screenshot, the lock screen timestamp photo, and a photo of the short witness note. She added one line in the body: "I am requesting a fair correction first. If not possible, I request the contract's rapid compliance process." Then she hit send. Daniel's next words were careful. "We built that clause to protect dignity, not to win arguments," he said. "Let's use it correctly. We will act only on facts." I agree, Ava said. Her voice had no edge. It had weight. Mara joined the call. Her tone was warm, like sunlight on a quiet table. I've read the email, she said within a minute. We have 3 types of evidence: your paid receipt with a signed seat, a timeline with times, and a third-party witness note. That meets credible incident under our agreement. The first step is a courtesy notice to the airline senior team through the emergency channel. We flag a narrow geographic hold, 1 station, 1 window of time, only the functions that connect to our systems. Sam joined next. We also check our threshold, he said. We never pause lightly. We ask, is there a risk of continued unfair treatment if nothing changes? In this case, the flight has already left. But the same gate team is boarding new flights. A short pause with a micro-training can prevent more harm today. Ava listened to each word and nodded, even though they could not see her. Please make sure the message is respectful, she said. This is not about blame. It is about a safe process. It will be, Mara said. We will be gentle and clear. Daniel added the NOC Network Operations Center lead, Priya. Priya's voice was steady and kind. I'm in the console, she said. If legal signs, I can activate a temporary compliance banner at this station. It will ask a manager to acknowledge the dignity policy and start a 10-minute refresher module. It also prompts collection of basic facts. No names will be shown on public screens. Only managers will see the notice. Mara approved in 1 sentence. Activate the narrow hold for this station only, for 90 minutes, renewable by senior sign-off. Priya typed. On Ava's side of the glass, planes rolled and paused like slow-moving ideas. On Priya's screen, lines of quiet logic moved faster than the eye. She set the hold to soft, which meant the system did not crash or break boarding everywhere. It simply required a manager to read a short policy and begin a quick module before continuing new check-ins and upgrades. She added a banner message in clear language, temporary dignity check in progress. Thank you for your patience. She tagged the banner with the same incident number the station manager had given Ava. Sam drafted the notice to the airline senior channel. He kept it simple: we received a credible dignity incident at gate 14, station 3, at time. We have enabled a narrow compliance hold per clause number to prevent further issues. This is not a penalty. It is a safety break. Please contact us to coordinate the rapid steps. We are here to help. Mara read it once and said, send. The message left their building like a quiet arrow and landed in the inboxes and phones of the airline's regional leaders, the operations team, and the office of the chief operating officer. No alarms. No sirens. Just a firm, respectful tap on the shoulder. At the gate, Ava saw the first sign of change. The agent's monitor flashed, then showed a new banner. The agent frowned, clicked, and frowned again. The supervisor returned from the jet bridge and looked at his own screen. The words were not loud. They were careful: please pause new changes. Manager acknowledgement required. Ava watched with a soft face. She did not enjoy their surprise. She understood it. Change often arrives as a question: what is this? She hoped the next line they would see was helpful, not harsh. The manager's phone buzzed fast, then again. He answered and listened. His shoulders straightened. He nodded without speaking, as if repeating silent words to himself. He asked the agent to hold new upgrades for a moment. He opened an internal panel and read the dignity policy. It was short and practical: treat every customer with respect. Avoid assumptions. If a paid seat must change for safety, explain clearly and offer a fair alternative. Record the reason in writing. The policy then offered a 10-minute micro-training. The manager clicked start. A short video showed 3 quick scenes at a gate. The narrator spoke in the same simple tone Ava used with her own team: Speak clearly. Explain the reason. Do not hide the process. If someone asks for a note, write one. Fairness is clarity plus care. The agent looked confused but not angry. Is this from our software? She whispered. No, the manager said, keeping his voice calm. It's a contract process. Senior leadership will call in a minute. On the call, Daniel updated Ava. The hold is active, he said. The airline's regional director has seen it. Your name is not in the banner. Only the incident number. Thank you, Ava said. She felt a small release inside, like air moving through a room that had been closed. Transparency lets good air in. She stayed near the window, giving the gate team space. Sam added, we also sent a note to the airline's customer dignity office. We told them you prefer a quiet fix, not a public scene. We suggested steps, a written explanation for you, a review of the upgrade choice, and coaching for the team. We also offered to share our training script if they want an outside view. Mara said, we copied their legal team to keep everyone aligned. We asked for a call within the hour. Ava thanked them all. I appreciate the tone, she said. Please make sure it stays about people and process, not about winning. It will, Mara said again. She meant it. Back at the gate, the family who had witnessed the moment returned from a coffee run. The teenager noticed the soft banner on the screen and looked at Ava with wide eyes. Did you do that? He whispered. Ava smiled. A team did, she said. People who care about fair systems. He nodded as if he had just seen a quiet kind of power. Not force. Not volume. Structure. The manager finished the micro-training and clicked acknowledge. A second prompt asked him to record two simple things, what changed the seat, and what explanation was given. He typed, paused, and typed again, slower this time. He was careful now. Care invites care. His phone rang again. This time he put it on speaker at the desk, because the voice on the other end asked him to. This is Carla from Regional Operations, the voice said, clear and direct. I'm with the Customer Dignity Office and Legal. We see the hold. We are starting the steps. She paused just one beat. Please put Miss Johnson on the line, if she's willing. The manager looked up, surprised that the call knew Ava's name. He looked around the area and spotted her by the window. He lifted a hand. Miss Johnson, he called gently. They're asking to speak with you. Ava walked over without hurry. She did not step behind the desk. She stood where a customer would stand and folded her hands around her phone. Hello, she said in a calm, friendly voice. Miss Johnson, thank you, Carla said. I'm sorry for your experience today. We have your incident number and the basic facts. Our crew would like to join this call in a few minutes. May we put you on speaker so the team here can hear too? Yes, Ava said. Thank you for calling. I'm happy to speak. Before we do, Carla said, I want you to know we have paused new upgrades at this station until we finish a quick check. We will also review your original seat. We may be able to restore a fair solution today. Ava's tone stayed even. I appreciate the quick steps. I do not want anyone embarrassed. I want clear rules and kindness on the floor. That is our goal too, Carla said. One more request, would you share, in your own words, the short version of what happened, and what would feel like a fair next step to you? Ava glanced at the agent and the supervisor. Their faces showed a mixture of attention and worry. She offered them a small, respectful nod before she spoke. Then she gave the simplest version of the story, paid first-class seat, app check-in, gate message, full, 2 later passengers to first class, her request for an explanation, and her choice to wait for a manager rather than accept a downgrade. What would feel fair? Carla asked again, very gently now. A clear explanation in writing, Ava said, so the record is true. A restoration of my paid seat if possible. If not, a fair plan that shows this won't happen again, not only for me, but for anyone. That can be a small training, a short policy note, and a way to measure if it works. There was a silence on the line that felt like respect, not delay. Then Carla spoke. Thank you. Our coup is dialing in now. The manager adjusted the phone so everyone could hear. The agent straightened her posture. The speaker light blinked once, then held steady. A new voice came on the line, calm, senior, and present. The first words were simple, "This is Rivera. Thank you for waiting. Put Miss Johnson on the line, please." The voice on the speakerphone was steady and respectful. "This is Rivera," the woman said. "Thank you for your patience. Miss Johnson, I'm sorry for the experience you've had today. I've reviewed the incident notes and the system banner. I would like to hear from you directly, and then I will share the steps we are taking right now." Ava stood where any traveler would stand, hands lightly on her laptop bag. "Thank you, Miss Rivera," she said in a calm tone. "I purchased a first-class seat with a confirmed assignment. At the gate, I was told first class was full and that there was no record of my seat. I showed my receipt. 2 passengers who arrived after me went into first class. I asked for an explanation in writing and a fair correction. When that did not happen, I chose to wait rather than accept a downgrade." "I understand," Rivera said. There was no rush in her voice, only care. "I appreciate how clearly you presented the facts and how calmly you acted. We are responsible for making this right in both process and practice. Here is what I am ordering right now. First, a brief operational pause for new upgrades and reassignments at the station while we complete a rapid dignity check. Flights already boarded will depart. Any new boarding will be held for a few minutes while managers complete a short refresher and verify correct procedures. Second, we will review your original seat record and the upgrade decisions made around it. Third, we will write a clear explanation for you today." The station manager listened closely. The agent did too, shoulders a little tense, eyes focused on the desk. Ava kept her expression soft. "Thank you," she said. "I do not want blame. I want clarity and change." "That is the right goal," Rivera said. "I'm sending our regional operations team to your gate now. They will quietly support the staff and speak with you in person. We will handle coaching in a private space. We never correct people in public." "Thank you," Ava replied, pleased by that line. Dignity was for everyone, not just for guests. A second voice joined the speaker, Carla from Regional Operations. "Team, I'm in the terminal," she said. "I'll be at the gate in 3 minutes. I have the micro-training packets loaded, and I have printed copies of a short dignity policy reminder to post at the podium and break room. Nothing loud. Clean and simple." "Proceed," Rivera said. "Also, Miss Johnson, I would like to offer you your original travel class on the next available departure. If we can restore your seat on the current aircraft before pushback, we will. If not, I'll personally ensure you have a first-class seat on the next flight and time to make your meeting. In addition, I invite you to a short debrief with me later today." Ava kept her voice even. "I accept the debrief. For the flight, please do not remove anyone from a seat to place me. I prefer a fair process over a rushed fix." "Understood," Rivera answered. "We do not take a seat from a customer unless there is a safety reason. We will solve this by restoring the correct order or by providing a proper alternative on the next departure." The station manager cleared his throat, now speaking with a careful tone. "Miss Rivera, I have completed the micro-training on my screen and recorded the reason code. I am starting the same process for my team in the back office." His eyes moved to the agent. "We will step aside for 10 minutes for a refresher. Another agent is coming to cover basic questions at the desk while we do this. A runner arrived with a small folder and a quiet greeting. The supervisor and agent followed the manager to a nearby office door. There was no scolding. There were no raised voices. There was a sense of order: pause, learn, return. The temporary banner still glowed on the gate screen, a reminder that the system was protecting dignity calmly, gently, firmly. Carla reached the gate, a calm presence with a simple clipboard. She introduced herself to Ava with a warm smile. "Thank you for your patience. I'm here to make sure the policy steps happen quickly and kindly." She showed the printed one-page dignity policy, plain language, large font, 4 bullets. "We'll place this at the podium and in the break room today," she said. "It says, 1. Explain clearly, 2. Document reasons, 3. Offer fair alternatives, 4. If asked, provide a short written note." "That's good," Ava said. "Short and practical helps people do the right thing fast." Rivera came back on the speaker briefly. "2 more points," she said. "First, we will issue you, Miss Johnson, a formal written explanation for your record by close of business today. It will include the timeline, the decision point, and the correction steps. Second, I want to invite your foundation or your company's training team to review our refreshed scenarios. We will compensate for the time under a standard engagement. We will also create an internal dashboard that tracks completion of this refresher at all stations, and we will publish a simplified version on our website within a week. Transparency builds trust." Ava listened and then spoke with care. "I appreciate both offers. I accept the review under clear terms. And I ask that the public dashboard be easy to understand for regular people. No hidden numbers. Just the basics: training completion, complaint response time, and a few examples of how issues were resolved." "Agreed," Rivera said without hesitation. "We will share a draft of the page with you tomorrow. If you have suggestions, we will consider them." At that moment, a ground operations lead rolled a small sign to the head of the queue: "Short pause, thank you for your patience." The announcement over the speaker was clear but calm: "Attention at gate 14, we are completing a quick procedure check to improve your service. Boarding will resume in a few minutes. Thank you for your understanding." There was no blame in the words, only purpose. People shifted, glanced at their watches, and then relaxed when they saw staff moving with care instead of chaos. In the back office, the supervisor and agent tapped through the refresher module. It was simple, not shameful: 3 short scenes, each followed by a question. One scene described a paid seat that needed to move because of a documented safety reason. The right action was to explain the reason clearly and write a 1-line note in the record. Another scene showed a customer asking for a written explanation. The correct step was to give a brief note with the reason code and the manager's name. The last scene covered upgrades. Loyalty status is valuable, but it never cancels a paid seat with a confirmed assignment unless a safety reason is recorded, and even then, the customer must get the fairest possible outcome. 10 minutes later, the team returned to the gate with calmer faces and new focus. Carla collected the signed training acknowledgments and placed the one-page dignity policy at the podium. She spoke with the station manager in a low voice. He nodded and then addressed the small group of waiting travelers. "Thank you for your patience. We're ready to resume boarding. We will take extra care to explain any changes clearly." Ava stood a little aside, not in anyone's way. She did not wave for attention. She simply watched for the result that mattered most: better behavior, clearer process. The agent approached her privately. "Miss Johnson," she said softly, "I'm sorry for the confusion earlier. I've entered a correction note. Your original seat cannot be restored on that aircraft now, the door has closed. We have placed you in first class on the next flight, departing in 50 minutes, with a short walk to the gate. We will pre-board you for comfort. Here is a printed confirmation, and here is a brief written explanation for your record, signed by the station manager. Her hands did not shake. She was steady. Ava read the note. It was plain and honest. It said the seat change happened during a last-minute priority action, documentation was incomplete, a written explanation had not been provided when requested, and the station had conducted a rapid refresher with a policy posting. It ended with a direct apology. Not dramatic. Just clear. Thank you, Ava said. This helps. She looked at the agent and added with gentle encouragement, clarity protects you too. The agent nodded, understanding more now than she had an hour ago. She was not a bad person. She had been moving fast without a good guide. Now she had one. Rivera's voice came back to close the loop. Miss Johnson, she said, our system will maintain a narrow compliance lock here until I sign off on the corrective plan for this station. That includes the posted policy, the micro-training completion, and a brief manager coaching plan. I expect to sign by early afternoon. We will send you the final memo and, as discussed, a draft for the public dashboard. May I also extend a personal invitation, if you ever see a gap like this again, even at another airline, your feedback can help the whole industry. I will share it, Ava said. With the same calm and the same care. The call ended with quiet thanks all around. The gate returned to its rhythm, but the rhythm was better, more respectful. Boarding resumed with clear announcements. When a passenger asked why they were paused, the agent explained in one sentence and then smiled, we wanted to make sure we serve you right. A few minutes later, the family who had witnessed the first moments returned to check their own flight time. The mother caught Ava's eye and lifted a hand in a small greeting. The teenager whispered, they changed the sign. And the way they speak. It feels different now. It does, Ava said. That's the point. Carla walked over for a final handshake. We will email you the memo by end of day, she said, and I will send the photo of the posted policy for your records. Then, in a voice only they could hear, she added, thank you for how you did this. You asked for change without hurting people. That takes strength. Thank you for listening, Ava replied. That takes strength too. When the next flight was ready, a different agent greeted Ava at the new gate with a warm, professional smile. Miss Johnson, we have your first-class seat ready. If you'd like extra quiet, you're welcome to pre-board now. Here is a bottle of water, and if you need anything, please tell me. Ava accepted the water and thanked her. She did not feel triumphant. She felt grounded. A brief pause had protected many small moments of dignity that day, not just hers. The system lock would lift when the steps were complete, and the station would keep the one-page policy on the podium, where everyone could see it, staff and travelers alike. As she walked down the jet bridge, she thought about how change enters the world. Not always with big speeches or flashing lights. Sometimes change arrives as a short banner, a clear policy, a kind apology, and a small training done well. That was enough for today. She took her seat, placed her bag under the seat in front of her, and opened her notes. On the top line she wrote, real change is quiet and steady. Then she looked out the window and watched the sky open, wide and welcoming. 1 week later, the morning felt bright and ordinary. Ava sat at her kitchen table with tea and opened her laptop. An email from the airline was at the top of her inbox. The subject line was simple, Dignity Policy Update and Public Dashboard. She clicked. Inside, there was a kind message from Rivera, the coup, and a link. The message said thank you for the clear feedback and steady tone. The link promised real steps, not just words. Ava followed the link. A clean page opened with 3 short sections. The first section showed training completion numbers by station. The bars were easy to read. The color was gentle, not loud. The second section showed average response times to dignity-related complaints. The numbers were in hours, with a goal line set in a calm gray. The third section showed 3 anonymized examples of resolved issues, each with a plain explanation and the fix. Ava smiled. It was not a wall of text. It was usable. She read the examples closely. One told of a customer whose paid seat had been moved for a safety reason, but who did not get a clear note. After the refresher, the team gave short written notes the same day. Another example told how upgrades were paused and rechecked when rules were unclear. The last one described a quiet coaching session where a manager practiced saying, "Let me explain the reason and what I can do fairly for you today." Ava's heart felt a soft lift. This was how change sticks, small, honest steps, done again and again. Her phone buzzed with a message from Carla, a photo of the one-page dignity policy posted at the podium in the station. The words were sharp and clear: explain. Document. Offer fair options. Provide a short note if asked. Carla added a line, "We keep it up permanently." Ava typed back, "Thank you for steady work." Carla replied with a small thumbs up and a promise to check other stations too. Later that day, Ava joined the debrief call with Rivera and the regional team. The call was short, as planned. Rivera began with thanks. She spoke like a person used to strong winds who had learned to set a steady sail. "We finished the corrective plan," she said. "We signed off on the station. The banner lock is lifted because the steps are complete, but the policy remains in place. We've also added the micro-training to our quarterly cycle for all stations. Your feedback sharpened the script. Thank you." Ava shared her perspective in simple words. She praised what worked: the speed, the tone, the clarity of the dashboard, and the policy that fit on one page. Then she added 2 small suggestions. First, she asked them to include a tiny line at the bottom of the policy to remind staff that a clear note is not only for customers, it protects staff too. Second, she suggested a simple phrase for staff to use when they are unsure of a rule: "I want to get this right. Give me a minute to check and write this down." Rivera loved both ideas and asked the team to update the template. Before the call ended, Rivera said one more thing. "We are creating a small scholarship for frontline leaders to study inclusive service and communication. We will name it after an aviation pioneer who opened doors for many. We invite your foundation to recommend candidates." Ava accepted. She felt it was the right kind of gift, not a headline, but a ladder. That evening, Ava received a text from the family who had witnessed the scene at the gate. The mother wrote, "We saw your name on the dashboard page as a community reviewer. We are proud of you. The station felt different when we traveled yesterday." The agent explained a small change to a seat in one clear sentence and handed a note. It was calm and kind. The father added, "Our teenager keeps saying, 'Calm is a tool.'" He wrote it on a sticky note above his desk. Ava laughed softly and sent a warm reply. A few days later, Ava returned to the same airport for another business trip. She arrived early, as always. The gate looked the same on the outside: rows of seats, people with bags, a soft buzz in the air. But there were new small signs of care. The one-page dignity policy was posted at the podium, not hidden. An agent offered a traveler a written note without being asked. A manager walked the floor, checking on staff, not with a heavy hand, but with a light touch that said, "We are on the same side." Ava approached the desk and said good morning. The agent smiled and greeted her by name after scanning her pass. "First class aisle, as booked," the agent said. "If you have any needs, let me know. No extra fuss. No special flag. Just simple service done right." Ava sat by the window and watched a plane lift into a clear sky. She thought about the many hands it takes to move people with dignity: agents, managers, pilots, cleaners, tech teams, legal teams, travelers who speak up, and leaders who listen. On board, A flight attendant recognized her from the previous week's debrief call, which the crew had discussed in a briefing. The attendant did not make a big scene. She just placed a cup of water on Ava's tray and said in a quiet voice, "Thank you for helping us improve. It matters to us too. When the process is clear, our day is better." Ava nodded with real warmth. "Clarity is a kindness," she said. The attendant smiled. "Yes. It is." Back at the office, Ava gathered her team in a small meeting room. She thanked them for how they handled the incident, with patience, with facts, with a gentle but firm use of the contract clause. She also thanked the engineers who had designed the soft compliance lock. "You built something powerful and calm," she said. "It protects people without panic. That is good design." The engineers glowed, not with pride that looks outward, but with the quiet pride of doing a thing right. Daniel, the coup, spoke up last. He reminded the team that their goal was never to show power for its own sake. "Our tools are guardrails," he said. "They keep people safe when the road curves. We use them with care." He looked at Ava with respect. "You led with a steady hand. That steadiness set the tone for everyone else." That evening, Ava took a walk by a small lake near her home. The water reflected the soft light in simple lines. She thought about the first moment at the gate, the missing seat, the shrug, the feeling of being pushed aside. She thought about the choice to hold steady and to ask for a manager, to ask for a written note, to take a photo with no faces, to seek witnesses, to use the right channel, and to aim for a fix that would help others too. She felt grateful for the family who stood nearby, for staff who learned, for a crew who took responsibility, and for her own team who built useful tools. A few messages arrived as she walked. One was from Rivera, sharing a draft of the new public page text. Another was from Carla, showing a photo of a small coaching circle at a different station, with agents practicing one helpful sentence, "Let me explain the reason and what I can do fairly for you." The last was from the teenager, a photo of a school essay titled "Calm is a Tool," with a simple line inside, "When you stay calm, you make space for the truth." A week later, the scholarship opened. The first award went to a young supervisor who had led a respectful change at a busy station. His short note said, "I learned that writing a one-line explanation does not slow me down, it makes everything smoother. People relax when they see the reason on paper." Ava kept that line in her mind. The best lessons are ordinary and strong. On her next trip, Ava returned to the same city as the first incident. At the gate, the manager walked over and introduced himself. He had a calm face and a gentle voice. "Welcome back," he said. "We've kept the one-page policy up. We still do the short refresher once a quarter. When a traveler asks for a note, we smile and write it. It helps us too." Ava thanked him for the work. She did not mention her title. She did not need to. Respect did not ask for big labels. It asked for care. The plane lifted and cut through a thin layer of cloud. Sunlight filled the cabin like a quiet promise. Ava opened her laptop and wrote down the final lesson she wanted to keep: when something is wrong, do not rush to anger or rush to silence. Stand steady. Gather facts. Ask for clear words. Use the kind channel. Aim for a fix that lasts longer than one day. In time, steady steps turn into steady systems. And steady systems hold people gently, even on busy days. Before she closed her laptop, she added one last line for herself and for anyone who might read her notes one day: power is not for pushing people down. Power is for building rails so everyone can move with dignity. Then she saved the file, leaned back, and let the hum of the engine carry her forward, calm and sure.